Citizens United, according to John McCain, is the worst Supreme Court decision ever. That's what he said it was. So for those of you who've been living under a rock or in a cave and who don't know what Citizens United is, it's a recent Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court ruled that money equals speech, and therefore political action committees or rather corporations and unions and anyone else can donate unlimited amounts into these super PACs.
Right.
Which means that now our elections are completely and utterly bought. Now, this is one of Cenk's passions. I mean,
right.
He's working tirelessly to fight against this. He started a separate PAC called the Wolf PAC, and he's working with various leaders in Congress and in academia and various activists to try to get this horrible decision overturned with a constitutional amendment. So, I want to do a quick recap on who is contributing to our super PACs. Okay, so because right now,
and let me just say that the idea that money, so it used to be, okay, at the beginning of our country, if somebody had an idea and they wanted to get the idea out, they needed money to go to a printing press, to print their things, to get their leaflets out, and somebody would give them money so they could get their message out. Well, now that kind of has been turned on its ear, because now what the Supreme Court is saying is that, yes, the guy who gives you money for your printing press, that money equals speech, right? So if I have $1, that dollar equals speech. But if somebody has $100, now he has 100 more by times of 100 more speech than I do in our political process. And that's what's wrong with it. It's not equal. Not everybody gets the equal speech, right? And so that's the big problem here. And now, because they're controlling government without this, now imagine how much more they're going to be controlling government.
Right. So basically, in Senate and congressional races, the person with more money wins 94% of the time.
94%.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter who has a better idea. It doesn't matter who cares more about the country. All that matters is who has more money. On rare occasions, the guy with more money loses, but it's probably a situation when the differential isn't that much. But you take one side with a tremendous amount of money and the other side with a lot less, it's over.
Yes.
Especially in our digital age,
right.
Where the airwaves and the internet is flooded with very misleading ads. Whoever has more money, whoever misleads more, usually wins. Now, this decision by the Supreme Court it really is a horrendous decision, because Justice Kennedy, who I thought was a fairly rational, reasonable person, wrote in his opinion that not only does it not corrupt the political process, but it doesn't even give the appearance of corrupting the political process, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't, yes, go ahead, keep going.
And Citizens United is a case that kind of all sides are rallying around. I mean, Tea Party members and the Occupy people, the regular 47%ers,
yes.
the 99%ers. Nobody likes this idea of a few super rich people owning our government.
Citizens United is like the replacement refs of politics. Everybody can come together to hate this thing, right? And it's amazing that it got pushed through under some really weird I can see Scalia voting for it. I can see Roberts going okay because they're corporate tools. But again, like Kennedy, it's like, really? You don't see the problem with this? And I guess they don't see the problem with this. So, John McCain came out today, and he's making a lot of noise about it, right?
Yeah. So John McCain, I mean, look, he's a bit of a crazy person himself, and he's a crazy military hawk. He thinks we should wage war all over the world.
There isn't a problem we can't solve with a missile and a gun, right?
Yeah. So on that front, I really just dislike him. However, he is a very principled person in certain areas, and this is one of them. And his commitment to campaign finance has been pretty strong. I mean, he passed. He and Feingold got together to pass some campaign finance reform, and apparently he is still very much impassioned by this particular issue. And he came out today and said it was the worst Supreme Court decision ever. So
when you have to rely on the guy who picked Sarah Palin to be our vice president, if you rely on that guy to be the voice of reason, that's how bad our politics are now.
Yeah, and you know, I'm actually disappointed. Well, this is another area where I'm disappointed with President Obama because he's done really nothing to address this issue.
Citizens United?
Citizens United and campaign finance. He mentioned a few times how he would like to get money out of politics, but you know, he accepts money like everyone else. And in fact, he's quite a master at it.
Yes.
Although in his defense, he does get money, you know, smaller amounts from more people, which is better than just getting it all from one corporation who just buys that out.
He did. He did raise the most money from Wall Street in 2008 than any candidate previous to that.
That's true too.
So,
That's
and
true
then you
too.
wonder why we got toothless bank reform, which is what happened. We got Dodd-Frank, which doesn't really solve the problems.
Look, everyone understands the problem with Citizens United and money in politics because the money goes to controlling the politicians who favor their corporate donors or their any donors for that matter, rather than the constituents.
Right.
It's so obvious.